Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Sri Tips here, and I've got a container full of gold plated silver jewelry. What I do is I set this aside as I'm going through the metals and sorting through them, and I save them for this video. So we're going to get a weight on this gold plated silver jewelry. It's been run through the ultrasonic cleaner and the steam cleaner to get all the junk off, and I've removed most of the steel springs and stones and that kind of stuff. So I'm going to pour it into our beaker and see what kind of weight we got on this. Looks like we got 807.2 grams of gold plated silver jewelry. Now what we'll do to start this off is add some distilled water to the gold plated silver jewelry. I'm going to add about 1.5 liters, up to the 1.5 liter level. What we'll do now is add some nitric acid to the gold plated silver jewelry, and we're going to dissolve the silver out, similar to what we do when we process gold filled scrap, except this is gold plated silver. And this process will not work on junk gold plated jewelry. I've got silver here as a base metal underneath the gold, so I'm adding about a half liter of nitric acid. And what will happen is the nitric acid will dissolve the silver out of here. It won't dissolve the gold. The gold will get left behind, and then we'll recover the gold and refine it. I'm going to let this set off of the heat now and just react. It should react for quite some time just from the heat of the nitric acid dissolving the silver. I've had this reacting in the nitric acid for about an hour, and now what we'll do is we're going to put this up on some heat. Now that the reaction's a little further along, you can see there's gold foils floating on top of the liquid inside that beaker. That's because the nitric acid will dissolve the silver but leave behind the gold, so we can recover it and refine it. So now let's go ahead and put this up on the heat. Before I add the heat, what I'm going to do is put in another couple of 100 milliliters of nitric acid. And I want an excess of nitric in here. That's about another 200 milliliters of nitric acid. I've had this material on all night long, about 11 hours in there boiling. And what we're going to do is I'm adding 150 milliliters of distilled water. And now I'm going to add another 100 milliliters. of nitric acid. I just want to make sure we've got all the silver dissolved out of the beaker up here. So now we're going to add this to the beaker slowly. Just want to make sure I've got every bit of the silver dissolved out of this liquid. And I think I do. I don't see any reaction at all from that dilute nitric acid addition. It's been an hour since that last 100 ml dose of nitric, and I don't see any more fumes going on in there at all. So I think it's pretty safe to conclude that we've got all of the silver dissolved now. So what we'll do is pull this down off the heat and let it cool off. I'm going to add a few 100 milliliters of distilled water just to help cool it off and dilute this solution down a little bit. Here you can see we've got a nice layer of gold foils settling down to the bottom of the beaker. Here's a look at our beautiful gold foils. I've allowed this to settle and cool overnight. Now what we'll do is I've got my vacuum bottle set up. There's probably about 15 ounces of silver in that blue liquid. So what we'll do is we'll use the vacuum bottle and draw all that liquid off and save it. This blue liquid will have a bunch of silver in it, plus it'll have a bunch of excess nitric. So I'll add some sterling to consume the excess nitric, and then we'll recover the silver later on. But for now, we're going to get set up to recover our gold foils. All the silver has been pulled out of here now with nitric acid boils. So what we'll do is we're going to take this filter with our gold foils in it. Look at them things. And now we'll put this in this beaker. I'm adding some hydrochloric acid. Now we're going to set this up on the heat. Notice we didn't get a bunch of silver chloride forming in there, which is a positive. Let's turn on some heat. And then now what we'll do is add a little bit of sulfuric acid, just like we would in the other refining, to take care of any lead that may be present. Now we'll add some nitric acid, form aqua regia in this beaker, and start dissolving these gold foils. That was 4 3-milliliter doses of nitric acid. Let's pull this down off the heat. Now we'll add some ice to help cool this off. Now we'll reach down in here, get a stannous test. And you can tell by that stain, we've got gold in solution. And I've still got foils floating in here. I believe those are going to be rhodium, because rhodium is used to plate sterling silver jewelry. And rhodium does not dissolve well in aqua regia. Here you can see there's some white metal, probably rhodium. The rest of this is going to be filter paper. And then there's some stones, gemstones. Here's a look at what's in the filter. Move this back out of the way. Solution now to a beaker. Let's do one more quick stannous test. Just see what we got. Make sure we got gold in here. There you go, that dark stain means gold. Now let's do a precipitation. I'm going to use SMB. Here we go. Add a spoon in and do our get our gold to drop out of this solution. See how this is going to work. Oh, that was pretty dramatic. Very nice. That's 3 spoons. See how that does for us. This has been allowed to settle for about an hour. We're going to dump off our waste solution. Here's our gold down in the bottom of a 2-liter beaker. It's a respectable amount. Now what I'm going to do is add some hydrochloric acid. And we'll set this up on some heat back here and give this a boil in hydrochloric acid. I've had this boiling in hydrochloric now for about 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and pour this off into our waste container. Here we go. Let's see if we can get our gold down into this melt dish. Let's melt us up a little button of pure gold. Here's our gold button. It's got some contamination on the top of the surface. The back don't look too bad. Probably 99%, 990. We've got 4.1 divided by 807. So it looks like we've got 1/2 of 1% yield from 807 grams of gold-plated silver jewelry. And this will conclude the video. Thank you for watching.